Hi, I'm Marnie Pearson, back to talk with you about how to create your own amazing life. I was talking to my sister today, and she reminded me of something my granny used to say about, you've made your bed, now you gotta lie in it. And my sister had watched one of my recent videos and thought, what if Granny was wrong? What if you don't have to lie in that bed, And I said, yeah, maybe you gotta lie in it for a day, but that doesn't mean you gotta spend the rest of your life lying in that bed. You can change your life. And as I've been mulling on this all day long, I thought of a story in Mark 2 where Jesus is just surrounded by a bunch of people. There's all these people thronging around him. And these 5 friends come. 4 of them have a friend who is sick and paralyzed with them. And they want to get their friend into Jesus to be healed. But there's so many people they can't get into the little house that he's in. And so what they do is the 4 friends carry him up on top of the roof, take the roof off, and lower the man down into where Jesus is. And Jesus is so impressed by the faith of these men and this man who's come to be healed that he tells the man, thy sins are forgiven thee. Now the scribes that are there, they're murmuring amongst themselves. They're thinking in their heads, what right has he got to forgive sins? This is blasphemous. He doesn't have any right to do this. Now Jesus, discerning their thoughts, says, what's your problem? Basically, he says, is it easier for me to say, thy sins are forgiven thee, or take up thy bed and walk? So to prove to you that the Son of Man has power to forgive sins on earth, take up your bed and walk. And so the man stands up, carries his bed, rejoices, thanks the Lord, and carries it on home with him. Now this story is an excellent example of the fact that we don't have to lie in those beds that we've made for ourselves. We don't have to stay stuck just because we made mistakes in the past. The first thing Jesus does is forgive the man of his sins and tells him, anything that may have led you up to this point that you haven't done perfectly, any mistakes you've made, it's forgiven. Let it go. And then he tells him, take up your bed and walk. Go in a new direction. You don't have to stay here lying in this bed, suffering from any mistakes you may have made in the past. You can create a new life and a new direction. You can have joy. Because we're here to have joy. Believe it or not, we really are. And God wants us to have joy. Where are you sort of feeling like you're stuck because you've made mistakes in the past? Are you dealing with something today that you're thinking, well, I made my bed, I got to lie in it. I made these choices, so I'm paying these consequences. What if you could give those over to Jesus? What if you could be forgiven of the mistakes you've made in the past? Because he's already paid for that stuff. That's the beauty of his whole message, is that you can let the past go and you can create something new and beautiful in him. So I challenge you to do that. Let go of that old story that's no longer serving you. Forgive yourself, forgive the past, forgive anyone else involved in it, and then choose a new path. A path that will be glorious and beautiful and joyful, and trust God to lead you in that direction, because he will. I know he will, and I promise you that he will. So get started and create your own amazing life.